I never thought my life would turn into a bare-knuckle fight over dirt. Not metaphorical dirt, not some argument over whose lawn looked better. No, I mean real honest-to-God land. 7 acres sitting just outside Castle Rock, Colorado, covered in wild scrub and promise. I found it at a county tax auction, me a former property fraud analyst who'd spent a decade untangling scams and coffee stains in Denver, finally taking my own leap, swearing off cubicles and HOA letters for good. All I wanted was some peace, maybe to fix up an old barn plant, a few apple trees, and build a place that felt like home, the kind where the loudest thing is the wind, not some neighbor banging on your door about fence height. You get the idea. But life as always doesn't care about your neat plans. I'd barely had time to knock the dust off the barn door before things started getting weird. I saw him first when I was checking my boundaries, walking the line with a cheap thermos and an even cheaper survey app out there in a field of dead grass. He looked like a misplaced scarecrow, all crossed arms and a mustache that had seen more presidents than I'd had birthdays. Didn't wave, didn't blink, just chewed whatever was in his jaw and looked at me like I was the one trespassing. I called out just a morning, but he spat in the dirt and let the silence do the talking. Some folks are polite in their own way, I figured. Fast forward 3 months, I show up with some contractors and a couple of rented bobcats ready to start clearing the northeast edge for a pole barn. I'd brought donuts to keep spirits up, but even sugar couldn't fix what was waiting. There was a fresh gravel road snaking through my land where no road should be. And at the end, a black steel gate, chained brand new lock, and a banner screaming, "Property under contract. Private sale. Pending." It was like someone had dropped a used car lot sign on my backyard. My drywaller, he doubled his comic relief points at it, asks if I'd sold off a piece and forgotten to mention it. My stomach bottomed out, and I did what any former fraud guy would. I checked my parcel map, double-checked it, triple-checked it, because there's nothing like panic to make you doubt yourself. No mistake. That gate was planted smack inside my line. No sooner had I put that together than a battered Silverado rolled up. Guess who steps out? Yep, Mr. Silent from the fence line this time, with a grin you could smell from 50 feet. He doesn't wait for introductions, just tells me, "You got most of it, sure, but not this slice. Never was yours. Kept it back when the rest went up for grabs. Already got a buyer lined up." Then he hands me a napkin map, literally yellowed, shaky pen lines, some scrawl from the 90s claiming that's the true border. Says his daddy drew it with the neighbor, and that's what counts county paperwork, be damned. Now, I'm not new to scams. I'd seen every flavor of fake deed and handshake deal, but nothing quite this bald. I pulled out my survey Data County records. Everything told him flat, I have legal ownership documents and a stamp to prove it. He just shrugs and says, "We'll see what the courts say." I called the sheriff's office right then, but the deputy looked at the napkin like he'd seen it all before and told me civil matter, get a lawyer. So my contractors packed up and I was left standing in the wind watching this guy grin at me from behind a brand new gate on my land. Next day I came back to find Get Out City Boy sprayed on my fence stake, red paint dripping, and another stake burned right down to the dirt. That night, I filed a report, sent in photos, and got a polite shrug from law enforcement. Probably just kids, they said. Sure. Next time I came out, there were hay bales stacked behind the gate, 2 tractors parked half on my parcel, and some temp fencing zip-tied with a no trespassing private agricultural use sign. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just a neighbor being stubborn. He was staging it, making it look like he'd used the land forever, banking on confusion, hoping the paper trail got murky enough for him to steal a corner. So I called in a licensed surveyor, someone from out of county. No local ties, no good old boy favors. 2 days later, I had orange flags marking every line, and no shock. All of Randy's claims were bogus. But overnight, half the flags vanished and my surveyor's truck got spray painted, "No developers." I installed security cameras, solar-powered, motion-sensitive, and it didn't take long. They caught him plain as day, sneaking in at night, burning steaks, hauling hay, acting like a king on land he didn't own. Now, I'm stubborn too. I took all that footage to the sheriff, who finally agreed it was looking serious, but still wouldn't call it a crime until someone got hurt. So I dug deeper, hit the county offices, pulled every deed and GIS map, and that's when I found out there'd been a recent boundary clarification filing submitted by someone who'd retired a year earlier using outdated credentials. Basically, a hack job slipped through the cracks by someone helping Randy from the inside. And just when I thought I'd seen it all, in walks a guy in a suit and sunglasses, Marlowe, representing a Florida investor, saying they're under contract for that same corner. He flashes a sloppy agreement, no GPS, no parcel ID, just Randy's scribble and a fake notary stamp, but the description points to my entire lot. I told him flat, that land's frozen under dispute, and you're about to get tangled up in something criminal if you keep wiring money. His poker face melted just a little. Next, I tracked down the escrow office. Turns out it was a P.O. box in a strip mall, no record of any active file. The scam was unraveling. But here's the twist. My attorney dug up records showing Randy had been using that same retained corner as collateral for loans 3 times over 5 years, even scoring federal agricultural microloans. He'd listed my land's ID, claimed adverse use rights, and one bank even approved it. Suddenly, it wasn't just my word against his. It was secured loan fraud, papered up with my property as the bait. My attorney fired off formal notices to the banks and the county demanding they flag the parcel for fraud. Things went from land squabble to federal case in about a heartbeat. One bank even sued Randy, which helped my case by cementing the parcel ID and legal filings. Meanwhile, I filed fraud complaints with the county, brought in a neighbor named Frank, who'd been scammed by Randy years before he showed up with maps, affidavits, and a handshake that could break a fence post. Turned out this wasn't Randy's first rodeo, just his boldest. But Randy, never one to go quietly, doubled down, dropping hay, leaving gas cans at my gate, caught on camera each time. I finally sent everything to the DA footage, affidavits, bank fraud, and arson attempts, the whole mess. And then finally it was court day. I sat at the plaintiff's table, stacks of documents beside me, deeds, maps, photos, affidavits, loan records, while Randy looked smug in an oversized suit. The judge listened deadpan as his lawyer spun tales about historical use and family deals. My attorney countered with hard documents. The county surveyor took the stand, confirmed my lines, no wiggle room. Frank testified, laid out Randy's pattern, and Janice, my attorney, read out loan filings, retained corner tract section 19, tract 4A. That's my land, no question. Then I played the security footage, Randy bold as brass gas can in hand, laughing at my gate. Silence in the courtroom. The judge didn't miss a beat. Ruled the whole parcel was mine, declared Randy's claims fraudulent, his actions trespass, and attempted arson, and referred everything to the DA for prosecution. The bailiff cuffed him right there. All the while I just felt relief, a cold, tired kind, but relief nonetheless. 3 months on the illegal gate is gone. The gravel's replaced with grass. And the only thing left is a steel sign, "At the bluff not for sale." This land already has an owner. It's still not you. Neighbors come by, take photos, laugh about the saga. Even Frank drops by to offer tips on drainage and share stories over a thermos of coffee. Randy, he pled out, took the rap for fraud and arson, lost the land, and last I heard, the Florida investors back to flipping condos, probably reading the fine print a little closer. So that's how a simple dream of peace and dirt turned into a showdown straight out of a courtroom drama. I rebuilt the barn, fixed the fence, and every night when the sunset hits the bluff, I remember what it cost to claim something truly yours. And if you're ever in the market for land, do yourself a favor, check who actually owns it before you fall for a deal too good to be true. Now, what do you think? Was I too stubborn, or is there a line you just have to draw when it comes to standing up for what's yours? Let me know. Because out here, the only thing stronger than a boundary line is the story that gets told about it.